he want to do?
Minutes, right?
There it is. Anytime, 7 o'clock.
Okay,
The red lights.
okay. You will do that.
I did.
Okay, we're going to call the meeting of the Schaumburg Village Board to order for Tuesday, August 13th, 2019. Just so you're aware, we do video stream this meeting. It is being done right now. I ask that if you have cell phones or any other electronic devices, you please turn them off. Would appreciate that. First item is for the clerk to call the roll.
Trustee Kozak?
Here.
Trustee Conley?
Here.
Trustee Sullivan?
Present.
Trustee Dunham?
Here.
Trustee Madej?
Present.
Trustee Bishki?
Present.
President Daly?
Present. All present and accounted for. Next item is the Pledge of Allegiance, and I would ask Trustee Conley if she would lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please rise. I pledge allegiance to the
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Trustee Conley. Next item is the approval of minutes from July 23rd, 2019. Any questions, comments?
Motion to approve. Second.
There's a motion and a second to approve the minutes as presented. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. Next item is the approval of expenditures. There's a list of expenditures for $631,984.14 before you. Any questions or comments?
Move the approved expenditures as presented.
Second.
So motion and a second to approve the expenditures as presented. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Kozak?
Aye.
Trustee Conley?
Aye.
Trustee Sullivan?
Aye.
Trustee Dunham?
Aye.
Trustee Madej?
Aye.
Trustee Bishki?
Aye.
6 ayes, no nays. Motion carries. Presentations. This evening we have a presentation a presentation by Superintendent of the Township High School District 211, Dr. Dan Cates, regarding district and village cooperation. Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for a few minutes of your time this evening to come and express our appreciation in District 211 for all that your people do for us. We are all directly familiar with the urgency and the priority of safety in our schools for all of our students and staff, and I want to just express our gratitude that we could not do this if not for your assistance. Certainly the village manager is extremely helpful for us. We meet regularly. Our police and fire departments that you offer us are invaluable. And I want to provide just a little bit of information for you. The police and fire people have been closely involved in creating our security plans and our emergency response plans. They conduct drills for us. Once the drills are finished, they review them extensively, and we identify areas for improvement. They work with us closely throughout any concerns that come up at all hours of the night. It is not uncommon for us to receive, as you may be familiar, social media information that comes in at late hours, and the quality and the collaboration is just simply excellent. And I want to express our thanks. We could not do all that we do to keep our students and our staff safe if not for your help. I wanted to highlight in particular a sizable grant that the Schaumburg Police Department brought to us. We have applied for it. We have not yet received it, but we are hopeful. This grant would impact all of our schools across the district to improve our front entrance security, to improve our glass matters, to prevent shattering in high volume areas, and to provide us with more cameras. So this is just one example of the kinds of support that we receive consistently. And just as a little side note, I want to thank the village manager for the consultation regarding our snow days. When we do have to have those decisions, and consultation is very helpful to have that information firsthand and immediately in the moment. So with sincere appreciation, as we start another school year, I wanted to express our thanks to you and our gratitude for all that your people have done for us, and to let you know they do an excellent, excellent job for us. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Appreciate that. 211 has got obviously a great school system. My kids have gone there along with others. Jack Sullivan is a graduate of Conant. Marge
My
You,
sons went to Schaumburg High.
Schaumburg? Frank?
Schaumburg.
Schaumburg, right. And George, Conant, Mark,
Went to Conant.
Both my boys went to Schaumburg High.
and Brian.
All three of mine went through Schaumburg High.
Yeah, so everybody up here has got kids or themselves, and some people, such as Jack, that actually did go to the high school themselves. So great school district, and we thank you for all you do and that everyone there does. So thank you very much. Okay. Yes, by all means.
If I could, I just want to say a couple of things. This is Dr. Cates' last year at District 211. He'll be retiring at the end of the school year. And the cooperation that we have provided to the district is received back from the district as well. I mean, we have very good relationships, and about a year ago, I was called on to film a video segment for a nomination for Dr. Cates for Superintendent of the Year. I must not have done a very good job because he didn't win. But in that video, I did say that, you know, he does work very hard at outreach to the communities that are in the district to establish these types of cooperative relationships and make sure that all of us are working together to serve the collective population of the area. There's no question, at least in my mind, you know, at the time that I've been with the village, that the relationship really between the village and the school district is the best that it's ever been. And I can only hope that the 211 board makes a wise decision in your successor, and we can continue to have that relationship in the future. So thanks very much, Dan, and congratulations to you.
Thank you. So you're welcome to stay, or you can leave. It's up to you, your choice. I'm going to give him that option. He attends enough meetings, I'm sure, as it is. Next item on the agenda is liquor license requests. We don't have any outstanding liquor license requests this evening? No? Okay. Next item is the consent agenda. The consent agenda will be read in its entirety, voted on as one motion to approve. If you wish to discuss an item further, please indicate that when the item is read by the village clerk so that it can be removed from the consent agenda and discussed further under committee reports. Otherwise, all items will be approved as presented on the consent agenda in one motion. So will the clerk please read the consent agenda?
Number 1, correspondence. The motion would be to ratify the request from the Friends of Schaumburg to hold a raffle on August 4th, 2019 at St. Peter Lutheran Church, 202 East Schaumburg Road. B, the motion would be to approve the request from the Schaumburg J.C.'s to hold a raffle on September 2nd, 2019 on the Septemberfest grounds, 101 Schaumburg Court, and to waive the fidelity bond requirement. C, the motion would be to approve the request from the Rotary Club of Schaumburg Hoffman Estates to hold a raffle on October 4th, 2019 at Chandler's Chop House and Banquet Hall, 401 North Roselle Road, and to grant a variance to Code Section 117.31. 2, liquor licenses. The motion would be to approve the request from Mr. Samuel Natala of St. Peter Lutheran Church for one Class Day, one-day liquor license for Indian Cultural Night on Friday, August 16th from 6:30 until 9 p.m. at St. Peter Lutheran Church, 202 East Schaumburg Road. B, the motion would be to approve the request from Mr. Justin Sinkowitz of the Schaumburg Park Foundation for 13 Class D one-day liquor licenses for as listed below. C, the motion would be to request from Ms. Roxanne Benvenuti of the Village of Schaumburg for 3 Class D one-day liquor license requests for Septemberfest main stage performers as listed below. D, the motion would be to approve the request from Mr. Joseph Papa and the Sons and Daughters of Italy in America for 3 Class D one-day liquor licenses as listed below. E, the motion would be to approve the request from Mrs. Ashley Sheridan and Mr. Scott Felgenhauer of the Schaumburg J.C.'s for 3 Class D one-day liquor licenses as listed below. 3, Engineering and Public Works Committee. The motion would be to authorize participation in the Northwest Municipal Conference Suburban Purchasing Cooperative and authorize issuance of a purchase order to Curry Motors Fleet of Frankfort, Illinois for one 2019 Ford F-450 vehicle in the amount of $70,958. B, the motion would be to waive competitive bidding and participate in the Master Intergovernmental Cooperative Purchase Agreement, MICPA, with U.S. Communities and authorize issuance of a purchase order to Garland DBS, Inc. of Cleveland, Ohio, for the Fire Station Number 54 roof replacement project in a total amount of $229,318. C, the motion would be to authorize the village manager to execute an agreement for the Braintree and Weathersfield Stage 3 and 4 drainage improvements, Phase 2 engineering services with Christopher B. Burke Engineering Limited of Rosemont, Illinois, in the amount of $83,534, and approve the required resolution. D, the motion would be to authorize the village manager to execute an agreement for the 2019 corrugated metal pipe CMP storm sewer improvements, Phase 2 engineering services with Clark Dietz, Inc. of Chicago, Illinois, in the amount of $130,775, and approve the required resolution. 4, Health and Human Resources Committee. The motion would be to approve a resolution authorizing the village manager to execute an agreement with Kenneth Young Center regarding enforcement of underage alcohol consumption. 5, Transportation Committee. The motion would be to adopt an ordinance amending Title VII, Chapter 74, Schedule 13 regarding speed limits 30 mile per hour, and Title VII, Chapter 75, Schedule I regarding no parking at any time for Progress Parkway. B, the motion would be to adopt an ordinance amending Title VII, Chapter 75, Schedule I, no parking at any time, East Point Drive and Stratford Drive. C, the motion would be to direct staff to prepare an ordinance to amend sections 7104 of the Village of Schaumburg Code of Ordinances to allow the use of motorized bicycles, scooters, and skateboards within the Village of Schaumburg. Six, Planning, Building, and Development Committee. The motion would be to approve a resolution authorizing the village manager to execute an amendment to the restated declaration and bylaws for the townhomes of Bright Ridge Condominium Association. B, the motion would be to approve a resolution for the amendment to the memorandum of conditions for the Class 7C application for Equity Roots Holding LLC. C, the motion would be to approve a resolution adopting written design standards for small wireless facilities. 7, Zoning Board of Appeals. A, the motion would be to approve a special use for psychic fortune-telling establishment for Tammy Costello, 706 East Higgins Road. B, the motion would be to approve a variation to the minimum landscape for ground sign for Windy Point 1, 1500 McConnor Parkway. C, the motion would be to approve a special use for a Type C restaurant and parking variation for Cinnaholic Bakery, 1404 East Gulf Road, Woodfield Village Green Shopping Center. D, the motion would be to approve a special use for a gymnasium and parking variation for SSA Schaumburg Sluggers, 914 Estes Court. E, the motion would be to approve an amendment to Municipal Code Title 15, Chapter 154, various sections regulating small wireless facilities as permitted and special uses. 8, resolutions. The motion would be to adopt as Resolution R-19-045, approving and authorizing the execution of a law enforcement agreement with Kenneth Young Center. B, the motion would be to adopt as Resolution R-19-046, authorizing the village manager and village clerk to execute an agreement by and between the Village of Schaumburg and Christopher B. Burke Engineering, Ltd., for the Braintree and Weathersfield Stage 3 and 4 drainage improvements engineering services. C, the motion would be to adopt as resolution number R-19-047, authorizing the village manager and village clerk to execute an agreement by and between the Village of Schaumburg and Clark Dietz, Inc., for the 2019 corrugated metal pipe storm sewer improvements Phase 2 engineering services. D, the motion will be to adopt as Resolution R-19-048, authorizing execution of a consent and approval to the amendment to the amended and restated declaration and bylaws for the townhomes of Bright Ridge Condominium Association. E, the motion will be to adopt as Resolution R-19-049, approving amended and restated memorandum conditions for the village support of Class 7C application of Equity Roots Holding, LLC, for 30 to 40 North Martingale Road, Schaumburg, Illinois. F, the motion would be to adopt as Resolution R-19-050, adopting written design standards for small wireless facilities. 9, ordinances. The motion would be to waive first reading and adopt as ordinance 19-064, granting a variation to the minimum landscape for ground sign for Windy Point 1, 1500 McConnor Parkway. B, the motion would be to waive first reading and adopt as ordinance 19-065, granting special use for a psychic fortune-telling establishment for Tammy Costello, 706 East Higgins Road. C, the motion would be to waive first reading and adopt as ordinance number 19-066, granting special use for a Type C restaurant and parking variation for Cinnaholic Bakery, 1404 East Gulf Road, Woodfield Village Green Shopping Center. D, the motion would be to waive first reading and adopt as ordinance 19-067, granting a special use for gymnasium and parking variations for SSA Schaumburg Sluggers, 914 Estes Court. E, the motion would be to waive first reading and adopt as ordinance number 19-068, granting an amendment to Municipal Code, Title 15, Chapter 154, various sections regulating small wireless facilities as permitted and special uses. F, the motion would be to waive first reading and adopt as ordinance 19-069, amending Title 7, Chapter 74, Schedule 13, speed limits 30 miles per hour, and Chapter 75, Schedule I, no parking anytime, Progress Parkway. G, the motion would be to waive first reading and adopt as ordinance number 19-070, amending Title 7, Chapter 75, Schedule 1, no parking at any time, East Point Drive and Stratford Drive. This concludes the consent agenda.
Thank you, Marilyn. With no items pulled off, look for a motion to approve the consent agenda as read.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda as read. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Kozak.
Aye.
Trustee Conley.
Aye.
Trustee Sullivan.
Aye.
Trustee Dunham.
Aye.
Trustee Madej.
Aye.
Trustee Bishke.
Aye.
6 ayes, no nays. Motion carries. Next item is committee reports. Any reports listed? None? None before us. Comments from the audience. We have as the mayor used to say, an open mic and 6 waiting trustees If you have any items pertinent towards Village of Schaumburg, please come forward. Seeing none, move on to council report.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. This evening, at the close of our regular business, I will be asking for a motion to go into closed session to discuss the acquisition or purchase of or lease of real property, and I'll be asking for that at the appropriate time. I would note for the audience that there is no action that will be taken in open session at the end of that agreement. Oh, yes, there is.
There is. We got 2
Oh,
items.
Excuse me.
2 items.
Scratch that.
Yes.
We do expect to take action, and those resolutions are on the agenda.
I think staff was just having a heart attack.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had the silly thing in reverse.
Yes, all right. Anything else?
No, that's it.
No, okay. President's report, I do have a few items to read into the minutes. One is, there was a very nice article in, I guess this is called Illinois Meeting and Events. They kind of cover it up, so you can't quite see it, but any rate, talks about best of 2019, and in there is the Best Convention and Visitors Bureau of Chicago is Meet Chicago Northwest, our very own. Unfortunately, it did it in pink, so it's very hard to see. You can see the column, but it's really hard to read. At any rate, it was very nice that they got accolades for that. So I did want to mention Dave Perillo and his staff for doing such a great job. There is also in a Illinois Municipal League has a magazine that comes out monthly. It's called Illinois Municipal Review, and in there's an article about public art and communities, and talks in particular about Schaumburg's art scene celebrated throughout the community. Very good article here about this that's been going on, and of course Mayor Larson was very instrumental in that. Talked about all the different things that we set aside, 1% for the art and things of that nature. And there's a quote in here from Al, and I have to read it because I thought it was something that I know he spoke about many times. If I had to list one thing that binds together the fabric of society, it would be art. It is perhaps the ultimate measure of civilization in a way that diverse cultures speak one to another. Communities are enriched by it, and city and suburbs alike need to promote its growth and development. And I think we have done just that over the years under his direction, and we will certainly continue to do that. So, very good article. Hopefully you've all get that and have had a chance to look at that. Another one is I would like to congratulate and mention in particular Progress Parkway. We had a ribbon cutting, or a dedication, I should say, a couple of weeks ago out there. Turned out to be an absolutely gorgeous day, and it was very well received. We had members of the community, Motorola, Zurich, some of the businesses out there, but staff has worked very hard to develop the whole Motorola project in particular, that property. Certainly community development with Julie and her staff, economic development with Matt Frank and his staff, transportation, Karen Robles, and engineering and public works in getting the completion of the Progress Parkway done and looking good. And if you haven't drove it, I keep telling everybody this, go drive it, and it makes you realize how big that property is. Once you drive around that and you come in off of whether it's Meacham or Algonquin and you make that trip, you all of a sudden realize the enormity of that parcel that we're in the process.
You get to see how big them poles are back there.
Well, yeah, and right, and for Top Golf, and my understanding was what we saw that day, they had another top to put to them, so it's pretty large, but.
Tops are on now.
Oh, they are, okay, all right, so, any rate, so I wanted to mention that. And lastly, I'm going to embarrass somebody because there's this magazine called Neighbors of Spring Valley, so it doesn't distribute through the whole community, but through a lot, and in there it's got a picture of Brian and his wife on there, and it talks about the Bischke family. Happy travels with the Bischkes. And it's a little mushy, I'd have to say.
It's
But-
kind of like a romance novel, I think.
Yeah, a little bit, a little heavy in that regard,
Yeah.
but it's very good, very
Not
well
what I
done,
expected,
so, but anyway, very nice, so, very good for you, so.
Thank you.
That's all I have. Managers report,
I have no report this evening.
okay. Any other new business? Any unfinished business? Trustee comments and mentions? Okay. And then I'll look for an adjournment into executive session.
So
So,
moved.
well, the motion should be to go into closed session under Section 2C5 of the Open Meetings Act, land acquisition, to discuss the purchase or lease of real property for use of the Village of Schaumburg.
That was the motion.
There's a motion and a second to adjourn into executive session with a return.
Yes.
Yes. So all those in favor?
We need a roll call, please.
You want a roll call? Okay.
Yes, please.
Will the clerk please call the roll? Sorry.
Trustee Kozak.
Aye.
Trustee Conley.
Aye.
Trustee Sullivan. Trustee Dunham.
Aye.
Trustee Madey.
Aye.
Trustee Bischke.
Aye.
6 ayes, no nays, and we are adjourned.
Bischke.
Present.
President Daley.
Present. First item in reconvening is a resolution approving and authorizing certain expenditures for a land acquisition settlement with CP 1500 Algonquin to the Meacham Road and Algonquin Road intersection improvements, and that resolution number is 051. Thank you very much.
Move to approve?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Kozak.
Aye.
Trustee Conley.
Aye.
Trustee Sullivan.
Yes.
Trustee Dunham.
Aye.
Trustee Madey.
Aye.
Trustee Bischke.
Aye.
Second item is a resolution R19-052. It's a resolution approving and authorizing certain expenditures for a land acquisition settlement with Tough Partners, LLC, related to the Meacham Road and Algonquin Road intersection improvements project.
The resolution
It's a new resolution. Any-
19-052.
Yes. that's-
So
Is that what I?
Second.
Might have missed it.
Who-
So a motion by trustee Dunham and a second by trustee Bischke. Any further discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Trustee Kozak.
Aye.
Trustee Conley.
Aye.
Trustee Sullivan.
Yes.
Trustee Dunham.
Aye.
Trustee Madey.
Aye.
Trustee Bischke.
Aye.
6 ayes, no nays, motion carries. Any other further business? If not, look for a motion to adjourn.
Those adjourned.
Second, motion and second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.